You know that awkward phase of your hair where it's like not yet where you want it to be? Like you're just rocking with it because you have a schedule for your hair. Is that just me? Do you have a schedule for your hair? Because I definitely do. Like I have plans. I plan my hair more than I plan like the actual things that are happening in my life. I just know there's like certain seasons, experiences that I want to have, and like I know what type of hair I need to have that. It might be a black girl thing. I don't know. Anyway, hi, I'm Lotus Aloba, and you are watching the Loboland podcast, where I am just showing up because that's what I'm doing this year. That's what I'm doing this season. I'm just being present. Disclaimer, it is currently Super Bowl Sunday. It's really loud in Philadelphia. So if you hear things, I'm going to do my best to edit what I can, but just get into the vibes. I mean, between it being Super Bowl Sunday and it's being a very prideful city, like shout out my Philly Wolves. Y'all are really prideful about your teams. Love that. From New York City, I think like the biggest thing is like the Yankees, but I also grew up near Shea Stadium before it was Citi Field, so I was always like a Mets fan and no one got it. But it's the only time that I can record because I have things to do, and this is the time where it's most quiet and I have a home studio. So we're gonna get into it. I'm actually pretty excited to record today because I didn't think I was going to record, if I'm being quite honest. I had such an interesting last week and we're going to talk about it. But before we do, I want to let you guys know what I'm sipping on. So I am sipping on some matcha. This is probably like my third matcha this week because of what happened this week. So I made my regular matcha, which is like the normal 4 ounces of vanilla, almond milk, 4 ounces of filtered water, the half a teaspoon of matcha, some cinnamon, blended it up together, and then I added a dropper of the shroom tincture. I'm enjoying it. I'm actually really happy that it doesn't hurt to drink, and we're gonna get into that, like how my week is, so I can get past the like weird moments of like, girl, what's happening to you? I didn't talk about my Mexico trip yet. I got really sick in Mexico, like super fucking sick, like violently ill. I got sick again on Thursday of this week and it felt very much like Mexico. And I kind of spent most of the weekend like getting better and like literally on that thin line of like, is this how it ends kind of vibe? And I'm feeling decent today. I'm not 100%. I'm nowhere near it. If I move too much, I'm exhausted, which is funny to me. Yeah, I'm finding a lot of these moments in my life to be really amusing. Like things that would normally stress me out, where I'm like, what is happening in your life? I'm realizing that not that bad. Just laugh if you can, rest when you are able to. The universe will figure its shit out. Don't worry about it. Chill out. I've been way more relaxed in my current experiences, which says a lot because getting as sick as I got would normally trigger my experience with anxiety, but also my experience with perfectionism. Two sides, right? The anxiety part, I instantly have that trauma of going back to when I was really, really sick, when I was like in the peak of the lupus and rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis, and just feeling like my body could not function on its own. And that's just a terrible feeling to have in general. But I had it really young at like 19 and 20, like when people are out in the clubs living their best life. Like I was in and out of hospitals doing blood tests and things like that. Very, very traumatic time of my life. And it really dictated a lot of my 20s. I still lived my life because there's a relentless energy within me of rebellion that refuses just to like be knocked down by life, which I'm grateful for, but also has exhausted me over time. I still did these amazing things. However, the trauma was still there of the fact that like whenever I get sick, even if I get a cold, I am terrified at first. Things are looking up. I don't feel that way anymore when I get sick, which has been a lot more frequently than I'm used to be quite honest. I'm just like, it'll work itself out. My body's strong. It's gonna figure itself out. I really trust my body. I also trust the fact that I'm intentional about what I eat and the environment that I am living in, and I'll be good. You know, I don't know when, but I will, and I trust that. And I lean into that trust a lot, and it's been really helpful, especially in this current experience. That's the one side of the whole anxiety experience and how it can trigger me just feeling like, whoa. Then it's the perfectionism, which I'm still navigating, as I first think of how many people I'm letting down because I'm not feeling well, which is wild. It's a wild concept when we really talk about the relationship between an overachiever and perfectionism. Super damaging, super unhealthy. But it instantly came up for me of like, oh my goodness, okay, I'm gonna have to cancel like my client one-on-ones. let me at least try to make it to school so I can like teach my kids, because I don't want them to think that I like didn't want to. Like all these crazy thoughts came up, as opposed to it being, your body's not well, sit the fuck down. Your body's not well, bro. You're not okay. Chill the fuck out. I could not get past the feeling of letting people down that I really care about. I wonder if this is going to be a reoccurring theme for me this year, because this is something I've already just dealt with in January, and here we are in February again, where I'm just like, I have a lot of guilt around not being able to show up for people that I want to show up for. And it's a very, very uncomfortable experience to have that I am working through. Shout out therapy. Oh, we got to talk about my therapy appointment. Okay, we'll get there. I just found that need, and I had to really slow my roll and talk to myself in a very motherly way of, babe, you have to rest. You're not okay. Let your clients know. Let whoever else it is that you were supposed to talk to know that you're not okay, and go lay down, because you physically are unable to do anything. I was barely able to get the emails and the text messages out, to be quite honest. Again, it's my level of perfectionism that wows me every time. Like, part of me is a machine, and I don't know how I truly feel about that. I think I was very proud when I was younger. Now I'm very concerned. But did that. Everyone was so loving. All of my clients, everyone was so kind. My students were like, you know, are you feeling better yet? And I'm like, I just told you that I wasn't. Again, first grade, concept of time. Very new to them. Everybody was just so loving and kind and sweet. And again, that is always the response that I get. So it's just inner critic that comes up. And it's not me. It's not me. When I spoke to my therapist about it, she really brought up the fact that I guilt tripped myself, because when I was growing up, when I wasn't able to perform to the level I was being asked of by the adults in my life, I was guilt tripped. It was just like, wow, I'm doing all these things for you, and like, this is how you repay me type of energy. And it would make me feel terrible. Like, I wasn't a kid where, you know, if you spanked me, I learned the lesson. Like, you just had to be disappointed in me and voice that disappointment. And I was crushed, like absolutely devastated. So talking to my therapist about that, and she was like, yeah, you have like a history of that. Like, chill the fuck out. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, it's true. I instantly start guilt tripping myself. And it's so subtle. It's not as intense as it was before. I have been constantly reminding not only myself, but my clients too, of like, when we are starting to level up, our self-sabotage will become more sophisticated, almost in a way where it's hard to identify it, because it wants to survive. It's just brain chemistry. Like, it wants to survive. It's like, I have to survive to keep you safe. So I'm going to like shapeshift and things like that, so that you don't end up like going into unknown territory that we can't fucking handle, when in fact everything is unknown. It's a weird cycle. Self-sabotage is going to do its thing. And for me, my self-sabotage has understood that if it's just blatantly out there, I'm gonna know that it's self-sabotage, and I'm be like, dude, we're not doing this. But now that it's softer, it's like more subtle, I'm just like, am I really letting people down? But I have to look at my current reality and how people are responding to me. Because when people are responding to me, they're responding to me like, dude, we love you, you're safe, you're good, go take care of yourself, reschedule with me when you can. That is a response, and that lets me know, no, you're not letting anyone down. You're definitely letting yourself down. That was kind of like my week. Therapy was popping. Love Dr. J. Found out that she got certified in EFT, and she was like, I was inspiration. I was like, ah. That was such a compliment. I love seeing Black women utilize EFT, let alone getting certified so they can teach their communities. Just so awesome that was an experience I got to have. Amazing. And then we had a great conversation about energy psychology and energy medicine. I love that woman. Also, side note, I also came to that realization this week of like the team I have around me. Like, my therapist is lit. All of my close girlfriends are popping. Like, really love them. I love their level of independence, the level of nourishment they provide me, just how they show up in their lives. Really grateful to have them in my life as guides, as well as just peers and companions. Thinking about like my financial advisor, she's fucking incredible. She's helping me like do my taxes, and I feel so safe. I was talking to Fatima about it yesterday. I feel safe, and I think that the feeling of safety is allowing me to navigate these moments of sickness, like where I'm just not physically well. I'm not showing up with that same level of anxiety or same level of perfectionism. Even though it's still showing up, it's not what it was. I would have pushed through and probably have collapsed if I was younger, just to get something done because I said I was doing it. You guys know I have commitment issues, but not in the sense that you think. It's more of like if I commit to you, like it's do or die, and it's heavy on the do or die part. And I'm really pulling that back because I should only be that committed to my personal growth and my spiritual practice. I feel like anything other than that is a bit much. It just adds unnecessary pressure to my life and then to the people that I'm committed to's life. It gets weird. Probably part of my Scorpio extremism, but whatever. Really brought me to that space of feeling safe. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit. First and foremost, I didn't understand how important it was to feel safe until maybe the end of last year, when I had to shift a few of my personal relationships with some people that I thought I felt very safe with. But in hindsight, I realized that I did not feel safe with them. It felt very familiar to be with them because they would have me show up in a way that was very familiar to me. Very much taking care of someone, really pouring into them, reminding them of how incredible and dynamic and powerful they are. I live for those moments. I love to do that. Having to do it all the time was a bit more than I needed to do. Didn't realize it because, again, it's something I love to do. Love to pour into my friends. Had to move past that. And I realized that I wasn't feeling safe in these dynamics, and I really had to evaluate what safety looked like for me, felt like for me, so that as I was moving forward, I can identify safe environments and relationships and begin getting comfortable in that dynamic instead of shying away from it or going to what felt familiar, because what felt familiar ultimately was the fact that I normally felt unsafe in my life. Not always and not in every area, but to some degree, there was a level of unsafety in my experience that I grew to really enjoy, rely on, because these were like environmental stressors and they caused different behavioral responses and all these things like that. As I reevaluated and I started thinking about what safety meant to me, first and foremost, it required me to really get to know myself on a different level. And you may have heard me say this in previous podcast episodes or even like lives that I do. I think it is so important to get to know yourself. And to also know that who you are today may be a different person tomorrow. And that's why you need time to reflect. You need time to sit with yourself every day if you can, even if it's a few minutes, just to see who you are and how you're doing and even why you're doing what you're doing. Like, just give yourself some time to reconnect, because every moment, every breath you take is shifting your experience and your perspective. And you really should, and I don't want to keep saying should, but I really encourage you to take some time for yourself. As I spent more time getting to know myself, I realized that a lot of things that felt very comfortable to me, even just last year, no longer feel good to me this year. And that I needed more support, that I was allowed to receive more support. I wouldn't have been able to go back into therapy as smoothly as I did, or get the support that I needed for my finances, or just my sisterhood, if I didn't know what I needed. It's a weird experience in knowing what you need, because sometimes you don't know what you need until you have an experience that you don't have it, or you experience it for the first time of like, oh, I need more of this. So it really is a trial and error kind of experience. And this leads into like my second thing I want to talk about when it comes to feeling safe and how to feel safe is documenting your life. Like, when you're checking in with how you're feeling each day, it helps you to begin identifying what feels unsafe and what feels safe for you. Let's say you struggle with getting to know yourself. I know a lot of my wolves out there, like, it's hard for me to get to know myself. It just is, right? Whether you consider it an identity issue or just not knowing where to begin because you're so multi-layered, right? And so multifaceted. Start with documenting yourself. I don't care if it's a Snapchat story every day, or voice notes, or journaling. Like, there are so many ways to document your life, but document your life. It's so important because you get to look back and reflect and see exactly what you were feeling in that time. When we start to think back to certain things, our perception of the past is super wonky. That's a whole nother topic that we can get into. But how we perceive the past is not actually how the past happened. But when you get to read through your journal, or rewatch a video of you talking about the day, or listen to a voice note of you recapping your day or your week, you are hearing in real time, what you were experiencing. And then you get to decide, like, oh wow, when I was hanging out with this person, I actually didn't have the best day, and that conversation was super heavy for me, and I didn't feel safe. If you're starting to feel heavy about something, you probably don't feel safe, right? You feel like you have to either overperform or support someone in a way that you either don't have the capacity to do or the capability to do, because you got to do it for yourself. Documenting your journey. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. I say this all the time in my EFT sessions, in my meditation sessions, in any class that I teach. It is so important. I don't care if you think that your life is boring, if you think that you are going to have a hard time going back and reflecting on your past. There are safe spaces for you to do that in, whether it's in therapy and you reflect on your journal entries, or in a supportive group, or in a membership, a wellness membership. Like, there is time and space for you to feel safe enough to go back and look, but you need to be able to reflect. And it's so much more easier for you to reflect and have a level of accuracy on what you experienced when you're doing it in real time. So I do my best to journal every day, or at least every other day, especially like when I'm sick. I just take care of myself. But I am going to journal what I can remember from the past couple of days. It helps me to see and look and go through my life of what felt safe for me and what didn't. So, so, so important. I encourage you to start that practice in this moment. Does it feel safe to listen to podcasts? Then write that down, document that somewhere. Does it feel safe to be around certain spaces in your city that you go to, and all of a sudden it's like a breath of fresh air? It feels really beautiful to be around. I want you to get really familiar with those things that feel safe, as well as getting familiar with the things that don't feel safe, right? And being honest, because you can know someone for a very long time and still not feel safe around them. Feeling familiar and feeling safe are two different things. When you feel safe, as you begin to witness, you'll notice that your body is so much more relaxed. You're taking deeper breaths. You're not overthinking in your head. There's no guard up. There's no need to protect yourself. You're just vibing with that person. You're just enjoying their company. Be clear on these things, so when you're in these dynamics, when you're in these environments, and you're in these spaces, you're able to see, this feels good for me to be in. Even if you're a little uncomfortable, because again, feeling safe, especially for someone who has felt unsafe most of their life, can feel uncomfortable. Yes, it can, because it's a weird feeling when you notice your body's just relaxing, or that your body is allowed to relax. Like, you can tell your body, we could chill out for a moment. It may not be something you're used to doing. The discomfort could come from the fact that it feels very unfamiliar to you to be as safe as you are. And I encourage you to explore that, not only on your own, but with some professional help if you can get some. Feeling safe is such a transformative experience. The fact that I feel safe the majority of the time is a wild thing for me. That I feel safe in my home, that I feel safe in my friendships, that I feel safe in the work that I get to do, and the communities that I even get to hold, that I feel safe enough to hold a safe space. These are all things that are fairly new experiences for me, and they feel really good, and they definitely feel unfamiliar sometimes. And I want all the Black bodies that are tuning in to have something in their life where they feel safe. Even if it's just that you feel safe with yourself. I feel safe with me. Huge deal. Even when I am experiencing the self-sabotage every now and then, it's not like I'm looking at that self-sabotage like, whoa, you're trying to harm me. You know, you're trying to take me out. It's just like, oh, you are concerned for me because this is a new experience and we don't know if we're prepared for this. And I get it. Like, I look at the fear that comes up in my body too. It's just like, you're just trying to protect me. I really am only able to do that because I do feel safe with myself. It's a wonderful thing to experience, and I really hope that you're able to experience it too. The last thing that I want to mention when it comes to feeling safe is practice being a safe space. How would you like someone to take care of you when you're feeling vulnerable or you're feeling scared or unwell? Practice being that for other people, seeing how it feels for you, because it's also a good way for you to begin identifying in other people. When I am talking to a friend and they're like, hey, can I share something very vulnerable with you? It's an amazing time for me to practice being a safe space. Okay, if I was sharing something vulnerable, how would I want them to respond? Maybe I want them to have a softer tone. I would really want them just to listen first. I would want them to ask if they could give me input and let me decide if that's what I needed. I would want them to affirm the fact that my experience is my experience and that's okay. And it doesn't make me any weirder or worse off in life. It doesn't mean I'm a bad human or a bad person. I would want them to let me know that they care. These are all things that I think of, and then I get to practice doing that. So when someone's sharing something vulnerable with me, I get to be that. Okay, softer tone. Tune in, listen to what they're saying. You can see that their voice is a little shaky right there. They stop talking. First and foremost, let them know that you hear them, that you see them. And I walk myself through exactly what it is that I would want to experience. And it's a beautiful way to practice receiving a safe space, because when I'm able to practice embodying it, I found on my own journey, it's a lot easier for me to receive it. And again, these are all just my personal things that I'm sharing with you. By all means, if it resonates, take it. If you want to try it out, I encourage it. If nothing I'm saying resonates, you're just kind of like, I just don't feel safe, it is what it is, then that's also fine too. I just want to share that level of intimacy with you. I told you that that's an intention for this season, is to have that level of intimacy. And these are things that I do because I do believe that feeling safe is so important and crucial to my journey. And I can confidently say to any creative's journey, you have to have a level of safetyness in your experience for you to share what's on your heart, what's in your mind, your genius with the world. Otherwise, you continue to harp on it and revamp it and reevaluate it and harbor it because you don't know if it's safe to give to the world. You don't know how the world's going to receive it. That imposter syndrome kicks in. These are all signs of you feeling unsafe, by the way. Like, I can put something out there in my current state and be okay because I feel safe in my body. I feel safe in my identity. I feel safe in myself. So even now, as I'm putting out this podcast episode, it's very vulnerable. It's very raw. It's not planned. I'm just speaking from my heart. This could be something that I record and end up deleting because, whoa, this is overwhelming to be this open with a whole bunch of people, some that I know and some that I'll never meet in person. I feel really safe. I feel safe in sharing my genius. I feel safe in sharing my experience. And the fact that people may enjoy it or hate it doesn't really influence me much at all. And at the end of the day, I'm just really proud of myself for showing up and sharing myself in a way that feels safe for me to do. Those are my things on feeling safe. Knowing yourself as best as you can, using the ability to document your life to better know yourself and know what feels good, and check in with yourself when you are looking for safe spaces and safe relationships, and then practicing being a safe space because it'll help you better identify it, right? It's a really cool little circle that I encourage you to lean into and see how it shows up in your life. It's really helped me a lot. Feeling safe has just changed my life in so many ways. It's leveled up my confidence. It's allowed me to be a calmer person as well, more compassionate because I feel safe and I want to extend that feeling to other people. Allowed me to explore another level of who I am as a person and as a practitioner. And I really enjoy who I am. I'm really loving the Lotus that is unfolding. She's awesome. She's super considerate and caring and funny, unafraid to be herself and to show up. She's just really enjoying her life. And I really hope that by sharing my insights on feeling safe, that it inspires you to lean into feeling safe more if you haven't already, or to begin exploring it because you deserve to feel safe. I want to shift gears and talk about things that I've been craving, because I've been craving a lot of things as I've been evolving. You guys know, if you listen to the previous episode, I talked about being in my cocoon phase and the mushy part. Still in there. Definitely still in there, especially after Thursday. I am noticing that the things that I need now in this part of my life are, I don't know, they're just different. They're cute. I like it. And I do want to share it with you. So I made a list. First thing that I'm craving is a lot of alone time. I'm assuming this is because I am transforming into this new level of self, or this other level of self. And I like being alone. I love it. I enjoy it so much. Could be my Scorpio sun or my Sagittarius progressed sun. Who knows? I just enjoy being by myself so much. And it's not because I don't enjoy the relationships in my life or the spaces that I'm in. Fucking love them all. Love hanging out with my family. Love hanging out with my friends. Love catching up. Love tuning in. All these great things. I enjoy just being in my home, vibing, chit-chatting with myself, laughing with myself, telling jokes to myself. Like, I am such great company for me. Could not recommend it enough. Could also be because I'm in my 30s too. And there are times where I just want to spend the day with myself. And I was just talking about this with Fatima because she said the same thing. She was like, sometimes I'm just like, it's just me and that's it. I'm like, girl, I feel you. I am just like, I know all my people are safe. I know that they're loved and they're good. I just want to vibe with me and see how I'm doing today. And some ways that I want to continue leaning into that alone time is like going to more museums. I've had this weird thing of like not going to museums, though I absolutely love museums. And I want to do a sculpting class. Even though that means I'll be around other people, it's people that I don't know. So technically I do feel like I'm by myself anyway. But I'm looking forward to that level of intimacy with myself, getting to use my hands in a different way and just having that alone time, you know? So, craving alone time, let me know if you are too. Second thing, bossa nova music. Like, there is something about waking up in the morning, talking to my Alexa, and being like, babes, throw on some bossa nova. And it just sets the vibes. I light my candles, light my incense. I make my morning tea, take out my journal, do a little bit of reading, get into my email. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just something about the bossa nova music. I'm just like, ah. And I think it's helpful too because I am learning Portuguese. You know, that some of my family is from Brazil. So I think it's nice that I'm listening to the music and there's certain words now that I can like identify and I'm like, it's giving multilingual, baby. I just love all of it. So loving and craving bossa nova music. Number 3, sleep. Yeah, I think it is mainly because of 2 things. One, physically have not been the best. Like even now I'm tired. Like I'm about to wrap this up real quick and go take a nap because I'm really, really sleepy. I'm really tired. My body's tired. Even sitting here, my body's like, yeah, girl, we've hit our threshold and it's time to wrap it up. And just honoring that. I enjoy sleeping so much. I have a fantastic mattress. My sheets are mad cute. They look like there's like 4-leaf clovers all over them. I have my weighted blanket. My room is like super dark now. I put like this blanket over my window to like just make it even like darker and more cozier because of the texture and everything. I have my candle warmer in there that's like filling the room with my favorite fragrance. Like it's such a vibe when I step into my room. I step into my room to go to sleep. Like automatically as soon as I cross the threshold, my eyes are getting heavy. I'm ready to like lay down and go to sleep because it feels so good. I put on my frequencies too to help with my subconscious training. Feels so good. I love sleeping. That's one of the main reasons. The second thing is also because I'm in school full time and I'm processing a lot of information about the brain, like a lot, and then a lot about somatic work and trauma informed approaches. And it can be a little triggering at times. My body needs time to process what I'm learning and what I'm experiencing in real time. And the best way for my body to do so is to sleep, to rest. I allow my body to do that. So really been craving sleep. I do also feel like, you know, that winter vibe is still happening. And it just is nice to get very cozy and go off to dreamland and see what happens. My dreams have been even more vivid lately too, so that's been great to wake up to and just writing out and looking up. I've had some of the most incredible dreams, by the way. Let me know if you want like a dream episode where we chat about some of my recent dreams, the ones that I can share. But such great dreams where I'm just like, this is dope. Like I'm really enjoying the vividness, how real it feels. A lot of lucid dreaming too. And number 4, craving comfort shows. I have really been enjoying comfort shows. I started doing this as a technique a few months ago to help me move through a lot of transitions that I was going through, like through my breakup, through a lot of friendship breakups that I was experiencing. Comfort shows just helped me take my mind off of what I was experiencing. And now I use it in the sense of because I'm in school and there's just so much like when I say it's so much information, I think I have each week about 10 to 12 hours of class that I have to navigate, which is a lot, to be honest. It's a lot to take in. Again, sleep helps. But the topics can feel so heavy, even though I'm really interested in them, and a little overwhelming. So it's nice to be able to do something that turns my brain off outside of meditation, outside of yoga, outside of Pilates, but just something that just feels easy. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels very comforting. And these are shows that I love. So I finished watching Good Witch in January. Love Good Witch. Like she just gets me. Cassie Nightingale. Sorry, I love this woman so much. Love Cassie Nightingale. Bad bitch. Was watching that really put me in a really great space. So anytime I felt overwhelmed or just like, you know what, I need a moment just to pause on life real quick and just to tune out, I rewatched that show. Now, then I did New Girl, hilarious, needed that. And now I'm currently watching The Good Place, and I think afterwards I'm gonna watch Avatar. These are shows that I would watch again and again, and I'm not somebody that rewatches shows actually. This is my first time actually doing that. I've never rewatched a show from beginning to end. Once I watch the show, I'm just kind of done with it. But what I enjoy a lot about comfort shows is that as I'm watching it, it's my brain is just able to just chill out because I know what's gonna happen next because I've watched the series. It's just nice to relive the moment with the people and the characters that I've really grown to love. I've been doing that and I've been really craving it and enjoying it so much. It's just nice to like grab some snacks. And I kind of flinched when I said snacks because I do feel like my Cheetos that I had were like the culprit that kind of went downhill with the whole thing on Thursday. Anyway, but it's really nice to like grab some snacks or like grab some tea, some water, and just like sit down and watch an episode or two, laugh a little bit, just let my mind be on, I'm gonna just say autopilot is the best word that's coming up for me right now. Just let it vibe out for a second before we get back into things that are more engaging. And it just feels really good. I feel like it helps me to have a balance where I'm not constantly on. And let me know if this is for you too, especially if you're a wellness practitioner. My lifestyle is my work as well. So it can get very exhausting sometimes. Like, yes, the meditation, the yoga, the Pilates, it all helps me to feel very, very good. I do love it so much and the benefits are outstanding. But it is also part of the work that I do, right? It's like almost that I'm working 24/7 and I didn't like that feeling at all. Though I am very fortunate enough and lucky to be able to have my lifestyle be my work and my work my lifestyle, I do need something just for me as like a human being, not as a practitioner, like as a person. And I find that the comfort shows are really helping me to do that. And something that has nothing to do with wellness at all, just things that I like to watch that make me laugh and that are really endearing and funny and that kind of pull on my heartstrings every now and then. Love that. Like, that's everything. That's what I'm craving. I'm craving those things. I'm really excited to share my insights on feeling safe with you because that was just something that was on my heart to do. And I'm really leaning into like just doing that. Also, did you guys meet my new plant, Lucky? This is Lucky. She's a doll. Love her. I also have a money tree now. Like, I'm slowly getting back into like my plant Mamiana vibes. Love that for me. I've always been a fresh cut flower girl, but it's nice to actually have plants to take care of and talk to. And it just helps like with the set. Like, it just looks so much more cuter. Loving the green ensemble. I don't know. Everything here is cute. I like this for me. And I hope you enjoy the visuals too. Look at me doing visuals another week. Look, I don't want y'all to get used to this. Like, I really don't know if I'm going to continue doing visuals to this degree. But, I mean, for now, it feels good. And again, as I said before in the first episode, this season is all about reintroducing me to me and me to you. Because though there's a lot about me that is the same, there's a lot about me that is very different. And that's what these episodes are going to be exploring. Right now, it feels really good to sit here and record. It might feel better to just do an audio version next week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I've really been enjoying recording with you all. Some quick reminders before we go. The Lotus Life Deck is for purchase, which I'm so proud of myself. I really, really, really love my Lotus Life Deck. And yes, I will do an episode on the Lotus Life Deck. I'm going to do an episode on the Lotus Life Deck, on my relationship with feeling lucky, because it actually goes way further back than I thought originally. So I'm so happy I gave myself time to like sit with that topic and not just like jump on the train because everyone's talking about like the lucky girl syndrome. Like, first and foremost, it's not a syndrome for me. This is like my life. I've been lucky for a very long time. This is my life. My life is that I'm a lucky person. I know I want to talk about that. I actually want to go into what my name means because a lot of people don't know what my name means or anything behind the history of it, which I think is really beautiful to share. My name holds a lot of beauty and insight and wisdom, and I want to share it with you all. So there's that happening. But anyway, back to the Lotus Life Deck. I'm going to do an episode on it. I'm going to show you guys some of my life deck because, again, it's very personal. And if you want to see it, you can come to one of the life deck parties. I have one coming up. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have so much fun. There are going to be people who have created life deck already that are there and people who have never done it before. And I'm going to guide you through it. We're going to have a good time, as we always do. I think if you've ever attended an event with me or a class, you know that I genuinely love holding space, and it's a really good time. You're going to meet really awesome people that are going to share insights about their lives and inspire you to do the same. And I share fantastic tips on manifesting and how to clear your energy to call in what you need in your life. It's going to be fantastic. Outside of teaching, me hosting events is always top tier. So come through. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you've been to the first Life Deck party in December of last year of 2022, then you get to come to this Life Deck party for free because you were the inaugural group. And I just, have a soft spot for people who take the leap, who are the first to do things. I really sit well with pioneers. So if you jumped on the bandwagon as soon as you saw it, it's a little bonus gift in there for you because I just, there's something about that I enjoy. If you are a bit more hesitant to make moves because that's the season that you're in, that's totally fine too. Go ahead, purchase the Life Deck. It's going to be really great if you're looking for an amazing tool that's going to help you shape your life, help you get to know yourself better too. The Life Deck is definitely that tool for you. It's super easy to cultivate and create, and definitely easy to maintain. Like, it's a vibe. Of course, if you want to learn with me, make sure that you are signed up for the communities that I'm in as a facilitator. I'm the creative director with House of Soul, and we have our Manifesting Vibes that happen on Sundays in the month. I share manifestation techniques and card pulls for the week just to get your mind right, to get your energy going. So come through to any of those things that is happening. And if anything else is coming up in real time that I need you to be a part of, I'll let you know. Again, all the links to things that I'll be doing will be in the email, as well as maybe the show notes. And of course, subscribe to my email because my email is going to have a bit more insights than this episode does have. And then you have access to everything in my email. You just click and just do what feels best for you. There's so many things for you to do in Loba Land. I can't say it enough. Make sure you leave comments and you subscribe to as much as you can because it supports me as a one-woman show. This is self-edited, self-produced, self-recorded, all these things like that. This podcast, this hybrid thing that I'm doing is all me. In spirit. Anything that you do to show support, whether you're sharing it, you're subscribing, you're leaving a comment, it all just really translates to acts of service, and that is my primary love language. And it lets me know that you care, and I want you to care because I care deeply for you. So it's just, me and you and me kind of thing. Enjoy this episode, sip your matcha, be well. Bye.